Good Sunday morning, everyone. Welcome to the county seat. I'm Terry Wood on this holiday weekend. We hope you're staying cool. It is the holiday we normally refer to as July 4th, but in truth, it is Independence Day. And on Independence Day, there's perhaps no group that we owe more to than the veterans of America who have helped keep us free the past 200 plus years. There are a lot of programs available for veterans these days, but sometimes they're scattered and diverse, and not all veterans know how to access them. However, in Utah County, they did something unique. They managed to put together a place to meet and a place to heal for America's veterans. Take a look.
It's important because what the United States of America does is lead people throughout the world to freedom. Free people can only help free people. People who are enslaved cannot help themselves.
We did our job, kept our head down, kept our shoulder to the wheel, and just kept on plodding. We don't ask for accolades. We don't want self-edification. What we're after is for love of country. Freedom is not free, and we have paid many prices.
We can never know the experiences of people who have been to war without having first lived it ourselves. Even veterans of war have had different experiences depending upon which conflicts they were involved in. Now, we don't often think much about what happens to people after they've been to war once the fighting has ceased. But fortunately, there are a number of volunteer services who serve veterans and families of deployed soldiers, like the American Legion, the Disabled American Veterans, and the Veterans of Foreign Wars, just to name a few.
I honestly do not know what we would do without all of these volunteers that have been so kind to help us.
Two years ago, veterans organizations worked with the community to create a veteran service organization that would become an umbrella for all the different veterans groups in Utah County.
The problem that we've had with the various organizations today is that all of us are doing our own things, but doing them collectively, we can actually have more people, more support, and more community to show up, because we'll be supporting all of those activities rather than just one or two activities. Between the two conference rooms that was offered to us and the ballroom, it really met the needs of the veterans, and it gave them this respect and dignity that our veterans needed in this community. And I really appreciate the opportunity that they didn't only say, here it is, but it's like, what else can we do? We want to help you.
The Utah County Veterans Service Organization has become a permanent home for the veterans of Utah County. A one-stop shop, if you will, for them to meet, heal, and unite with their community and other veteran service organizations.
So what one organization can't provide, the other can, and that's the support of the three veterans organizations. We all have our own purpose, but we're all here for the community. We're here to support our youth. We're here to handle scholarships and school awards, and to build Americanism and flag etiquette.
It may seem a simple act to provide space for our American veterans, but that act by the community has brought so much more.
Just having office space here means a lot to veterans, because it means, first of all, that we have honor in the city, that they honor our service and they honor the quality of our service and the freedom that's brought not just to America but to the world.
History, yes. The stuff that they hang on the walls, the pictures, the certificate, the original charter, which is very important, quite old. And this is part of history of Utah County.
I think we, as a general public, don't always remember that we've got people who are out there every day helping to protect those freedoms. And we owe a debt of gratitude to each and every one of them. And this is a small way that we and the citizens of Utah County can show that support to them, and we are very pleased to be able to do that.
Let us not forget the price that has been paid for our freedom, and the men and women who have made that sacrifice. For the county seat, I'm Chad Booth.
very moving story. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the services available not only in Utah County, but throughout the state of Utah for America's veterans. Right after this.
Unlimited opportunity for adventure. It's all about knowing where to look. ATV adventures, rock crawling events, art festivals, and wildlife events. The opportunities are limitless. Plan your stay and join us for MCR Racing at the Millard County Raceway and Millard County Fair, August 5th through the 8th. Pick your adventure in Millard County.
We all assume that the food we eat is safe, but how do you know? Well, it starts on the farm and continues every step of the way to your local grocery store. So when you bring home food, you do so with the peace of mind that it's safe, fresh, and nutritious, thanks to the Utah Department of Agriculture and Food, the guardians of Utah's food supply and sustainable agriculture. Learn more by visiting ag.utah.gov.
Tucked away just outside of Cedar City, Utah, are two of southern Utah's best-kept secrets, Canaraville Falls and Kolob Canyons. The rare scenic views create beautiful backdrops to capture the perfect selfie. Get your selfie to Canaraville Falls or Kolob Canyons and get in on one of Utah's best-kept secrets. Go to visitcedarcity.com and access your adventure.
The weekends just never feel like they're long enough. By the time you get to a destination, you're worn out and you may need a vacation to recover from your last vacation. The solution is closer than you think, and that's just what you need. You can find the desert at Little Sahara, the cool refreshment of Yuba Lake, escape to the green of the forest on the Nebo Loop, and join us in Nephi for the Ute Stampede Rodeo July 9th through the 11th. Make your escape to Juab County. It'll change your family forever.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's introduce our panel of experts here today. We're going to learn a lot about Veterans Affairs. We'll start on the far end of the table here. Dr. Steve Allen is with the VA system. He is a psychologist and actually involved in many of the programs we'll be talking about today. Gary Harter is with the state of Utah. He is the executive director of the Department of Veterans and Military Affairs. And Randy Edwards here in the bright red 4th of July shirt and tie is the Utah County Veterans Services Coordinator. Welcome, all of you gentlemen, today.
Thanks for having us.
I'd like to begin with you, Randy. You've got quite a program in Utah County for veterans. I mean, it's been very exemplary and a bit of a standard model for people around the country and in other areas of the state. Explain to us what you're doing in Utah County.
Thank you, Terry. It's all because of Dr. Allen and Gary Harter's office, the Director of Military Affairs. We appreciated their services for helping us to get started down there. But what we've done is we've started a Veterans Service Organization April of 2013, which is growing to be almost as large as Salt Lake City's meetings now. We're able to get the information and bring in all of our veterans organizations, the VFW, the DAV, the American Legion, the Marine Corps League, and the Elks as our biggest veterans organizations down there, to get the information out to all of our veterans. We have a Veterans Council every third Thursday, and the community is welcome to that. And this is where we get all of our information out to all of our community and all of our veterans services organizations.
So you're like an umbrella organization, in other words?
We're bringing in everybody, like Wasatch Mental Health, NAMI, we're bringing in all of the VSOs, which we mentioned, and these veterans organizations, or these community organizations are working with the veterans organizations, building networks for internets. We're working with the BYU interns to build a veterans network that we can get all of the community activities and all of the veterans organizations and activities, events, and programs, so that we're not overlapping and drowning out each other's programs.
A resource, at one point where veterans can go and find all these services.
Correct. And one of the things that really helps us is going up to Dr. Allen's OEF, IEF meetings getting the information from them and bringing it over the mountain to Utah County, and then us taking our information over to Salt Lake City so that we're coordinating all of our events.
Dr. Allen, maybe you can explain the OEF and OIF and how that plays.
Operation Enduring Freedom, Operation Iraqi Freedom are the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. Yeah.
And how does that play into the organization, the umbrella organization of Veteran Services here?
Well, about 10 years ago, a number of community partners got together to establish an OIF-OEF partnership to help coordinate efforts, to help bring folks that are working with veterans together. Because at that point, probably about 2006, it was clear that the resources needed for dealing with veterans and their families was broader than what any one agency could deal with. And so really, as a state, we've come together bringing these groups together along with Gary Harter's office, the Utah Office of Veterans and Military Affairs. It's a coordinated effort between these groups to try and have folks know what others are doing and helping veterans.
So Gary, with the State Office of Veterans Affairs, what specifically is your role here in coordinating?
Right, and thanks, Terry. We have about 160,000 veterans in the state across everywhere from up in Cache County down to Washington County and everything in between. And we think that the services provided to veterans, whether they be health care or mental wellness or employment or education, camaraderie, recognition, are much better served when various groups come together, and we've seen that be successful across our state and across the nation. Randy's done a tremendous job getting that started down in Utah County and bringing in many other things. Veterans courts are now involved in it down there as well. But most of the times we have federal, state, local, together with profit, not-for-profit, 501c3s, private organizations, all come together, say this is what we can do.
Now, with all these organizations coming together, you've got a lot of good programs. You mentioned veterans courts there just a second ago. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about some of these specific programs. I think the veterans courts are very interesting, and we're going to find out the ways you outreach into the more rural parts of the state to serve those who have served us so well. We'll be right back right after this.
There is a place where the desert comes alive, where rain breaks forth from solid stone and gardens spring from blistered rock. There is a place with enough color to make a rainbow jealous, where boulders are bigger than buildings and cliffs are higher than clouds. There is a place that will straighten your step, tighten your grip, widen your eyes, and open your jaw. There is a place.
What would you do with an extra day in Utah Valley? Explore the Wasatch Mountains? Snap a family photo at Bridal Veil Falls. Cool off on Utah Lake or the Provo River. No matter what you're searching for, you can find it in Utah Valley. Bring everyone together.
If you're looking for the center of the universe, well, good luck. But if you're looking for the center of the off-road universe, look no further than Paiute County. Hundreds of miles of trails turn your day of riding into a week, maybe a month. Heck, a lifetime wouldn't be enough. And this coming August is the perfect opportunity to hit the trail and participate in the Paiute Trail Jamboree. Take off from downtown Marysville by ATV or UTV and ride the most famous destinations in the world. Explore Paiute County and discover the magic and beauty of the land where the rainbow ends.
Welcome back, everyone. We're talking about something that is very germane on this holiday weekend, Veterans Affairs, and what certain aspects of the state of Utah, the state, Utah County, and even the VA system is doing to serve our veterans and their special needs. Steve, you've been involved with what I find is very fascinating, something called the Veterans Courts. Explain this to us.
Veterans courts have been around for a while, but is a concept, a problem-solving court similar to mental health courts or drug courts. And it's focused on providing services to veterans. It's to hold veterans accountable for their actions if they get into the legal system, but also to divert them to the resources that are available to them as veterans. Those resources are much broader for dealing with underlying mental health issues, substance abuse issues, and getting the treatment there so that those folks become not repeat offenders, and providing care for them. So this idea has been around for a number of years. It's spread through Utah. Utah has a number of veterans courts on a district level. There's a justice court and a federal veterans court. Many of those are staffed by judges who are veterans themselves and understand what goes on in military life and have different approaches to running their court along those military guidelines.
So if a veteran is charged with a crime, how does he or she get her case put into a veterans court?
It depends on the jurisdiction and the nature of the crime, but then also through the Veterans Justice Outreach Program of the VA, they can sometimes be able to be introduced or screened for appropriateness. It's important to know that the veterans courts are not some easier, softer way of dealing with things. It's actually more burdensome to the veteran to be in veterans court because the requirements are so strict. And people opt out of that would be eligible for it. But it really is a court that helps get people the help that they deserve and are needing.
They get some understanding there.
Exactly.
And you not only have these veterans courts that you're helping coordinate there in Utah County, Randy, you've got education systems, employment systems, business systems. Why don't you explain that? Let's talk about education first.
Okay. Well, would you like for me to talk about the Veterans Court and how it works in Utah County?
Yes.
I'm actually a Veterans Court mentor for the court. Okay. And because of that, what I do is I coordinate the mentors that are able to help with the veterans, and we work with them on a one-to-one. As a mentor of the court, we're not advisors, we're not counselors. What we are is we're assets to the court, because we can do things outside of the court that the court can't provide, or the VA. Now, a lot of people don't realize that the VA is divided into three areas. You have the benefit side, you have the health side, and then you have the cemetery. Mm-hmm. What we work with is we work with our veterans to make sure that they're in the system. A perfect example of that is we had a veteran, the way that we helped them is he actually did not have an ID. He was homeless. Mm. And when he got into the jail system, he was able to, we acknowledged that he didn't have an ID. So we was able to take him up to Director Harter's office. We got his DD-214. We paid for his birth certificate. So now he had two forms of ID. We linked him up with the Sheriff's Department in Salt Lake City, got him a temporary ID. So now he has three forms of ID. Now he can take that VID, go back to Director Harter's office, work with a service officer. He now has his service card, so now he can pick up his own prescriptions. He couldn't pick up his prescriptions because he had no ID. And so now they have four forms of ID. And actually I got a phone call on a Saturday, said, thanks, Randy, we were able to get my first checking account in 5 years.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So this is a great program. And then with that, this is where the education and all the other programs come in, is as a coordinator, we link them into the VA system. We can go to the ESGR, we can help with the job fairs. We can help them get a better resume through Chuck Rackham at the National Guard. He is a contractor, helps them to build a resume based upon their military occupational skills. That gets them a job, or most of the time now they're coming in and they're not just getting a job, but they're upgrading their careers and getting better jobs because of the resume that's being provided for them. The other things we do is we provide, we make sure that they have a place to live, make sure that they have food to eat, make sure that they are working with their families. We get them transportation. We just try to help them every way we possibly can outside the court system.
Gary, how big a problem is unemployment among veterans? I see these veterans job fairs advertised.
Yeah, Terry, it's terrific. And thanks for mentioning the employment side. A couple of years ago, unemployment rate for veterans in the state of Utah was over 7%. A lot of us worked very hard at that. It's now at 4.7%, came down to 2.5%
So
last
that's
couple
close
of
to
years.
the state average now.
Yeah, it's our stretch goal. My counterpart in the Department of Workforce Services, John Pierpont, our goal is to have it be equal to the state average. Stretch goals will make it better. Randy mentioned the job fairs. You mentioned job fairs 5 times a year from St. George to Provo. We have job fairs. They're terrific. They're open to all veterans, 11 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We have loads of jobs that are available from great employers across our state who come to these, who they want to hire veterans. A couple of years ago, we have a partnership called the Veterans Own Business Partnership. We reach out to veterans who own businesses or want to start businesses. The effort's been going on 1.5 years or so. We did our first summit earlier in May. It was so successful, we're going to do it again next year. We're reaching out to the veterans who want to say, look, I have an idea. I want to be a business person. I want to leverage the service that I gave to our great country. Education-wise, there's tremendous resources that are available for veterans for education. Familiar ones are the GI Bill, the federal benefits. There's almost 9,000 veterans right now utilizing their federal educational benefits in 95 different institutions across our state. It's tremendous. Many of our colleges and universities have veterans centers in them that they coordinate with the veterans to make sure that they have things that they know of and they can take advantage of it, make sure that they're able to succeed, to graduate, and to move forward with whatever program that they have.
You know, during the break a few minutes ago, one of you mentioned something that I found very interesting, that you have to communicate with veterans of different wars in different ways because of their own unique problems, whether it's World War II, Korea, Vietnam,
Correct.
Cold War.
And we do that in our office. We talk about the 4 groups, Korea, World War II, Vietnam, Cold War, peacekeeping, current conflict. We look at those overall. We recognize they receive information differently. Mobile devices, social media today. A World War II Korea veteran, probably printed material, not so much on the computers and stuff. We have programs, we use websites, we have emails that we use, we have new printed materials. You can always connect with our department. It's veterans.utah.gov. And we have a large amount of resources and connections with others. The strength in Utah is being able to connect with everybody. We talk a concept of no wrong door. We want a veteran to be able to connect with Randy, connect with Steve, connect with any of us, and be able to say, this is the things I need, and we can get it to make it happen for them.
And Steve, you also mentioned you're connecting with people in more rural areas by teleconferencing, telehealth.
That's right. It's a challenge, as you know, to deliver effective care into more rural areas. One of the concepts that we're working on is telemental health to smaller places, smaller communities, in which folks that live in rural areas are able to get very high quality mental health care conveniently to them.
Well, as you say, your challenge is getting the word out and letting people know these programs are available. We're going to take a break in just a second. When we come back, we're going to explain exactly how, if you are a veteran or if you have a loved one that's a veteran and perhaps needs some health, and whether it's mental health or physical health or any of these other services, we'll tell you how you can make yourself available to them.
I lived in Phoenix and then down in Orange County in California, and I met a small town girl and she brought me home. Just the smaller community that makes you feel like when you go somewhere you know everybody. You know, the sporting programs, the dance events, all these kinds of things, you run into people you know and that care about you and your family. And that makes it just a wonderful place to have little ones like this.
Isn't it time you found the balance you've been looking for? Uinta County, Utah.
Kanab, base camp for your southern Utah adventures. belong in Kanab.
Welcome back, everyone. We've been talking about the unique coordination of veteran services here in the state of Utah, Utah County, the state government, the VA here in Utah, and what it can do for those who have served our country. I'd like to ask you here, Randy, you've got such unique services in Utah County. You've coordinated so many services. Someone needs those services, or if someone watching has a loved one that needs those services, how do they go about finding what's the right service and contacting you or any one of these organizations?
The best thing to do is just to call me. My phone number is 801-224-6168. We have an office in the old historic courthouse, room 311. We usually go up there by appointment, but if they'll just leave a note or something on the door or take one of my cards, give me a call. I'll have cards on my door all the time. Another way that they can reach us is we have a Veterans Council meeting every third Thursday at 11 o'clock, room 211 in the old historic courthouse.
11 a.m. every third Thursday.
And it's on the rotunda floor. You just walk in, it's open to the public. We also have Director Harter's offices there to help with benefits. We set up scheduling for Gary Stearman. He comes in every third Thursday and helps with veterans benefits. All they have to do is just go to the third floor, room 311, grab one of my cards and give me a call.
That makes it pretty simple right there. Gary, what about through the state?
Yeah, for the state of Utah, veterans.utah.gov is our website. They're welcome to call our main number, 801-326-2372, or connect with us online, or send us an email, and that's veterans@utah.gov. We have people who represent us and our staff who are out every week, every day throughout our great state. We have a published schedule on the website, as well as in our document, The Veteran's Voice, and they can register their emails with us, and we'll make sure they get those copies as well.
Now, Steve, as a doctor, psychologist through the VA system, how do people know if they want to access one of these local services, or they should go through the VA system? And if they do, what do they do?
Well, the VA really provides a big array of services, both physical and mental health, for veterans that are eligible for care. In Utah County, there is the VA clinic in Orem and also the Vet Center in Provo, so those are convenient. At the main campus, people can come in for mental health care to Building 16, the outpatient mental health building, during the week work hours. There's also a website for PTSD issues, ptsd.va.gov. And if somebody is feeling in crisis 24 hours a day, they can call the Veterans Crisis Line, which is 1-800-273-8255. And so there's a lot of doors for getting that care. Certainly throughout the community, looking up the VA number and giving them a call will help get veterans into care.
You did say that crisis line was available 24 hours a day.
That's correct.
Because so many have so many issues.
That's right.
I want to thank you, gentlemen, Dr. Steve Allen, Gary Harter, Randy Edwards. I want to thank you for all you've done for America's veterans, those who have served our country.
Thank you, Jerry.
It's very admirable.
Thanks for having us.
And thank you for watching. This is the County Seat. I'm Terry Wood.
If you like this video, then we invite you to subscribe to our channel, The County Seat. You can do that here. And we invite you to share with your friends. We also invite you to get all the latest up-to-date information by following us on our social media channels. And if all else fails, make sure that you watch The County Seat Sunday morning at 8:30 right here on ABC4 Utah.